Okay, I think I am live now. If there is anyone out there, please say hello to the first ever Illuminating the Sunday Stories. I have my cup of tea. I don't know if any of you have that yet. If you don't, you may want to grab a cup of tea. Um, you may also want something to write with, so you may want to have a journal and anything else. I lit a candle. I don't know if you can see it. Where is it? Can you see it? You can't really see it because it's still really light outside and there's a lot of light, but there's a candle back here. So maybe you want to light a candle, anything that's going to make you feel cozy. I even have a blanket. I have a blanket, just something that's going to help you feel relaxed and cozy. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes here. Those of you who are out there, are any of you experiencing the Sunday Scaries right now? So if you're experiencing the Sunday Scaries, please feel free to post a comment about it. The Sunday Scaries, that anxiety that just grabs us on a Sunday and takes control. And suddenly we are no longer enjoying our Sunday and we are just dreading the week and having intense feelings or maybe thoughts. And so that is the reason why, one of the reasons why I wanted to have this time with you is so that I can help support you illuminate your Sunday scaries, or I'm calling them your Sunday stories, which I'll talk more about. I want to be able to support us all so that we can enjoy the rest of our Sunday, which for most of us is a time of restoration, and empower you to become more self-aware and self-connected so that you can go into the week just feeling more positive and that you don't have to have the Sunday scaries in complete control of your system. So anybody out there want to share that they are experiencing the Sunday scaries? And all you have to say is me or raise your hand. And if you don't, that's okay too. Which actually leads me to really wanting to talk about whenever we have this kind of space, it's really important to just talk about some of our agreements. So first of all, I want this space, however this is live on YouTube and live on Facebook, to be a space where people can share and they don't have to worry about being judged. They don't have to worry about being criticized. This is a space of just compassion and non-judgment. I also love the idea of just confidentiality. If you do see someone's username or see anything that what is shared in here just stays in here to the best of our ability using this platform. And the other thing I just invite all of you is just a sense of willingness and curiosity and openness. You may be wondering, illuminating the Sunday scaries or illuminating the Sunday stories, why would we want to shine light on that if that is already making us feel anxious? So I invite you to just trust the process, trust me, and just be willing and open to do what we're going to do today. So why is what we're about to do effective? And that is because when we are aware, when we do shed light or illuminate, we then are in 50% of the solution. We often say, I think Daniel Siegel might have coined this, but if you can name it, you can tame it. So if we can name what it is that is hijacking our system and taking over our Sunday, then we can better tame it. Or work with it. So that's going to be a big part of what I do with you today and every Sunday, as consistently as I possibly can. I want to be able to do this for everyone. So the beginning part is going to be about mindfulness. And those of you who are not familiar with mindfulness, or those of you who are like, I do it and I don't really like it, again, just gently being willing and curious because I will help you through the process so that it's not as intense or not as uncomfortable as you think it may be. There are so many benefits to mindfulness, but one of the many benefits is that you can pause and put yourself in the driver's seat rather than these Sunday scaries being in the driver's seat. So that's one of the many benefits. There's also a lot of brain science benefits to mindfulness, that you will be able to access your intuition and your inner wisdom in just taking the moment to do that. So that's going to be the first part, is guiding you in a mindfulness exercise. The second part that I'm going to do is I'm going to be helping you identify what exactly is hijacking your system. So thank you so much, Rita, for the shout out. Thank you. And I'm glad. I thought that the red would go well with kind of the coloring here. So we'll see what I wear every week to match. But thank you, Rita, for that. So if we can, so like I said, the first part is just kind of being aware, taking that pause, getting yourself in control of the Sunday scary rather than the Sunday scary being in control of you. Then we can also identify what exactly it is. So for example, this morning when I was just getting ready and planning this, I thought to myself, what is hijacking my system right now? And it was definitely a perfectionist part, wanting to make sure that this space for everyone is perfect. So I was like, okay, got you. A perfectionist part. And then another part was a scheduler. Okay, how am I going to manage all my time before? How am I going to manage all my time after? So if you are wondering, what is she talking about with like perfectionist part, scheduler part, I am going to explain all of that and give you an opportunity to learn more about your system in this process. Finally, I'm going to help you identify a tool, something that you can take with you into this week that is going to empower you to be ahead of those Sunday scaries or be ahead of the anxiety. So you will leave here with something that you can use to help you. So just beginning, before I start, are there any questions, or is anyone concerned or wondering exactly how we're going to do these things, or is everybody ready for me to just kind of dive in? Just wait a moment here to see if there's any questions or any other comments. Okay, why don't we just dive right in? So with mindfulness, those of you who are familiar with it, wonderful. Those of you who are not, it's okay. I am going to guide you with my voice, and again, just be open to the process and what comes up. I highly recommend that you do it with non-judgment and compassion for yourself and whatever comes up. And mindfulness is really just present moment awareness. And if we can just pause and be aware of what's going on, it doesn't have as much control over us. Like I said, and I'll just repeat it again, it puts us more in the driver's seat rather than the Sunday scary or the anxiety being in control. So I am going to guide you in that. There is no right or wrong way of doing this. It is not a good or bad. If you find that your mind is racing, or they call it monkey mind while I do this, or anything like that, it's fine. It's fine. There's no judgment. It's just whatever you can get out of this. Great. That's what's important. So usually when I do this, I do close my eyes. It's up to you whether or not you want to close your eyes. It helps me to focus. So I'm just going to guide you in a mindfulness exercise right now. It's going to help you become more aware of the Sunday scaries that may be going through your system right now. And if you're not going through any Sunday scaries or any kind of anxiety, maybe it can help you be more aware of whatever is happening right now. So just taking a moment right now, wherever you are, and seeing if you can just sit comfortably, however that is for you. And again, there's no right or wrong, good or bad way of doing this. So just taking a moment and allowing yourself to be supported by the chair you're sitting in, or if you're lying on something, and just allowing yourself to do that. Again, I'm going to close my eyes. It helps me focus. Do whatever is best for you. And just begin by connecting with your breath. There isn't anything else that you need to do right now other than noticing your inhale and noticing your exhale. And as you get quiet, that may be exactly when your Sunday scaries come up to the surface, or you may be feeling other emotions or physical sensations. And if you are, it's okay. You don't have to judge it as good or bad, right or wrong. I just invite you to use your breath and any other sensations, noticing sounds, noticing what the support feels like against whatever you're lying on or sitting on, noticing what your feet feel like against the floor, whatever it is, to just help connect you to this present moment. And knowing that if your mind does start to race, or if emotions come up, you can notice it without judgment. Bring your attention back to your breath. So in this quiet space, I want you to just take a moment and notice what you are feeling physically. So notice if you feel your Sunday scary or story in your chest. Notice if you feel it in your stomach. Just again, without judgment, noticing where you feel this physically. Just naming it and describing it in any way that you can. So again, just noting it without any judgment or criticism. And then I just want you to just identify the emotion around the Sunday scary or story that you're feeling. Maybe it's just anxiety. Maybe you're feeling a sense of overwhelm. Maybe you're feeling sad, angry, whatever it is. Again, without any judgment or criticism, just noticing the emotion that may be coming up. So again, just gently, with curiosity, noticing the emotions, naming them. And next, what I want you to do is take a look at your thoughts. Take a look at the stories. So what are your Sunday scaries or stories telling you? So for example, I had shared that mine were like, you have to do a really good job with this session tonight that you're doing, or make sure you get all the other things that you need to get done before or after, or even into tomorrow. So just you now taking a moment, noticing your stories, your scaries. And again, without any judgment or criticism, just taking note of whatever thoughts and stories and scaries are running through your mind. So just feeling a sense of gratitude that you gave yourself the time and the space to do this. And just feeling yourself sitting on the support that you're sitting on right now. Noticing the quality of air around you. Noticing any sounds or any scents. And when you're ready, you can come back here and you can either write here and post anything that came up for you during that exercise, or I invite you to write in a journal that you have, or write anything that came up for you physically about the Sunday scary or story, what emotions came up, and then the thoughts and the stories that came up. And again, I invite you to share, because chances are other people are feeling the same Sunday scary or story. So if you feel comfortable doing that, and I'll just give you a minute to either do it on your own or here in the group. So again, just realizing the power in you taking the time that you are right now to just notice and put yourself in the driver's seat of the Sunday scaries rather than them completely hijacking and taking over your Sunday. So you've already started to do that. Any brave, courageous participants out there to share anything that they have? It's okay if not, but if you do, I invite you. And you can also just comment on what the exercise was like for you. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it uncomfortable? Was it enlightening? And if not, it's okay. I will keep moving on as well. Whatever you feel will help you the most. Okay. So the next part that I want to talk to you about is has to do with parts work or internal family systems. So I don't know if anybody out there has heard of internal family systems. You can raise your hand or say, I love IFS is one of the abbreviations of it. I find IFS incredibly empowering and can really help us to find a calm within us and work with whatever fear, anxiety, anger, overwhelm that we're having. So that is part of why I want to incorporate that with you today. So the idea of parts work or internal family systems, it's by Richard Schwartz. He's the founder. He did years of study for this work, and has tons of wonderful trainings and courses, and a lot of therapists use it in their work now. And I'm one of those therapists. And basically the idea is that we have an internal system within us. We have different parts, almost like a family. So we all know that in our external family or our family of origin, there are different roles and different dynamics. Well, the same thing happens within our system. And the more self-aware we can be, the more self-connected we can be, the more compassionate, clear, calm we can access in relation to those parts, the more empowering and the more healing we can do of ourselves. So like I had mentioned earlier today, I had already started to look at my Sunday stories. So my Sunday story was about being perfect for this. So that was one story. So I knew right away, because I've been doing this work for a long time, but that's a perfectionist part. So many of us have a perfectionist part within us. Some people call it a perfectionist part. You can call your parts whatever you want. And you can have as many parts as you want. So there's, no judgment about that either. Some people have, some people, it falls under a critic or an inner critic. Like, you should do really well today. You should make sure that you make a really big impact, Jen, voices like that, or stories or scaries like that. Maybe you have the other part that I talked about, I call it a scheduler. I feel like in our society now, we have this because everyone is juggling so much and our lives are so full. So I call it my scheduler. Um, and this part, is just making sure that I'm getting everything done and I get it, do everything. And this is a pretty dominant part in my system. And I think that for those of you that may have stories around whether or not you're going to be able to get all that you need to get done to either prepare for the week or even during the week itself, you can relate to this. So I want everyone right now to just take a moment, look at some of the stories that you're facing right now, some of the Sunday stories or Sunday scaries, and see if you can identify a part. Um, and it could be anything. It can be, like I said, I've done this work, so I kind of knew what the part was. But I invite all of you to use your own inner wisdom and your own names of identifying this part within your system that is sharing these Sunday scaries or stories. And I should say right now that all of these parts mean well. Richard Schwartz has, I think it's his latest book. It's called No Bad Parts, because all of these parts are born to help us manage our system. So as you know, like a perfectionist, that part's just trying to help me do a really good job. It's just when it works to an extreme and maybe it's really hard on me and maybe it's stealing my joy of the Sunday, that's when we have to work with our parts to kind of balance them out. So same thing with the scheduler. Like, thank goodness for my scheduler. Oh my goodness. I always joke. Those of you who have worked with me before and know me, if I allowed myself to be in a completely natural state and like the scheduler took a nap or a vacation, I always joke and call it like in the middle of a daisy field, like sniffing daisies. That's just the metaphor I use because I think I naturally am just kind of there is no time. I don't have like a natural concept of time. For those of you that know the Myers-Briggs, I always score a J or judging, but I know that I am actually a P. I've just used society to help push me to this very linear time person, but it's not really natural for me. But I think that a lot of us have that part, and that's that can be really overwhelming because we know you've got to get the kids' lunches ready. You've got to make sure, for those of you that are teachers, you have to make sure all your plans are ready, or you have to just manage the time within the day. Well, I need to make sure I drop off this and do this and pick up this, and then also make sure I do this or make this meeting. And anyway, even just saying it out loud, you can tell I can pick up everything. So does anybody want to share a part that they can identify right now in their Sunday scary? I encourage you to just share, or maybe you just want to notice it in your own system, and I invite you to write it down. So make sure that you just write down what part you think it may be. And if you have any questions, if you're like, Jen, I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about, these parts within your system or anything like that? This is the time to please take a moment and ask me. And chances are, I always love what teachers often say. If you have the question, someone else out there has the question as well. So any comments or thoughts or questions? Otherwise, I will keep going. I'll keep going, but know that you can always interrupt me. I can see them, which is really cool. All right. So you took the time to just kind of be with whatever you were feeling physically, emotionally, your thoughts or your Sunday stories and scaries. Then we took a moment to kind of look at them a little bit differently and see if we can name them as a part, right? See if we can name these stories and scaries as coming from a part within our system. like a perfectionist part or a scheduler, like I call it. If you have gotten that far, then I would like for us to get to know these parts a little bit more. So now you may be feeling like, oh my goodness, okay, Jen, this is sounding more like the Sunday crazies. But trust me, please trust the process. There's a lot of wisdom within us. And when we can somewhat personify these parts or separate ourselves from these parts, we can get information from them. So it may feel like you're talking to yourself, but I want you to just see it. For those of you who have seen, oh my goodness, the movie just escaped me. It's the movie with all the like emotions. It's a Disney, I think. Oh my gosh. Or is it? Yeah, no, maybe it's iPax. Whatever the movie is. I know I'm going to get this. What is it? There's the feelings. There's the anger. It's somewhat of a cartoon. Why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, there's anger, there's sadness, there's joy. It was a really powerful movie, and they actually consulted with IFS for this movie. Inside Out. I got it. Inside Out, inside out, inside out. So it was taking these, emotions inside, outside, so that you can separate yourself and work with them, right? Otherwise, they're taking over, right? So if you're Sunday scary, if my perfectionist part took over my Sunday, maybe I would feel my heart racing the whole day. Can't even relax because, Jen, you need to make sure you do everything right. You need to make sure you do everything perfect, right? There's no room for error, right? If that part is in the lead, and myself with a capital S is not taking the moment to step outside and separate from this part, then that part is totally taking over. And maybe the Sunday Scaries or the Sunday Stories are taking over. So what I want you to do right now, again, all of that to say, this may sound crazy, but hopefully you're still with me. If you've identified a part, so I identified that my perfectionist part was kind of taking over. I want you to ask this part what its intention is in taking over your system. So you can do this either in a writing exercise where you write it, perfectionist part or whatever other part. I don't know what parts came up for all of you, but what is your intention and purpose in completely taking over my Sunday and completely hijacking my system? And then just listen. So just take a moment right now to do that. And you can write down in your own journal or write down in the comments anything that your part told you. And if I take a moment and I speak with my perfectionist part just says like, I want to make sure you do a good job. I know how important this is to you. I know how passionate you are on helping people illuminate their Sunday stories and their Sunday scaries. So I'm here to just make sure that you do a wonderful job. And so it's like, okay, all right. Thank you, perfectionist part. Got it. That's why you're taking over my system on this Sunday. So then you continue the conversation. Okay, so then the conversation continues. Again, if you think I am insane in the membrane or anything, you are welcome to comment on that as well or ask me questions. But you continue the conversation with this part. And so for me, the conversation would be, perfectionist part, I really appreciate you making sure that I do a good job and making sure that I bring a wonderful service to everyone. But you're actually stealing my joy, and I'm not really getting a relaxing Sunday or a restorative Sunday. What would it take for you to calm down? So that's the next question. So the next question is you asking whatever part you named for the stories that were hijacking your system, whatever that was, you ask that part, what does it need in order to calm down so that you can enjoy your Sunday? You can feel more calm. You can feel more confident. What does this part need in order to calm down? So I'm going to take a moment and ask my perfectionist part, and I invite all of you to take a moment, either in writing or just, mindfully asking the part what it needs in order to calm down so you can enjoy your Sunday. So just noticing whatever wisdom came to you when you asked what that part needs in order to calm down so you can enjoy your Sunday. And again, you can write it in the journal that you have, or you can write it in the comments here. And when I asked my perfectionist part what it needs to calm down or take a step back so I can enjoy my Sunday, it was very clear. It said, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you are bringing to everyone today. And then, of course, that Lenny Kravitz, I often get songs. Those of you who know me with the music. So Lenny Kravitz. Oh, goodness. It's if you wanted to guide it, you just got to believe. Believe in yourself, because it's all just a game. I don't know if you know that song. I don't know if it's called Believe. Maybe it is, but that was what my perfectionist part told me. So you never know what wisdom is going to come up in these exercises, but it happens. I'm telling you, my clients will say, oh, I've got nothing, Jen, nothing's coming up. And then I'll just have them sit with it a little bit more, or maybe I'll ask it in a different way and something will come up. It is Believe. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. How are you doing this? You're on like a bike tour right now and you are here. Thank you for being here. That means so much. He's right now. If you want to follow him, feel free to put your YouTube up, Chuck. Chuck is he's riding his bicycle right now down the east coast of Florida. So he has a page that you can follow to learn more about that. But anyway, thank you. It is Believe by Lenny Kravitz. So I can't imagine what Sunday Scaries you're having right now, Chuck, with that. If you are having any, riding your bike down the east coast of Florida. Yeah, so that was what my perfectionist part told me. And again, there's just magic in this work. That's why I'm bringing it to you, because you have wisdom within you to help empower you, right? So the next question that I'm going to ask has to do with that tool. So I want you to continue the conversation with whatever part that you are talking with the anxious part, a scheduler part, a perfectionist part, whatever part that you have. And I want you to ask the part, what is one action item or one practice that you can do throughout this week to help calm this part so that it's not hijacking your system, so that the Sunday scaries aren't completely just taking over your week and making you feel powerless and overwhelmed. So just asking it for one practice or action item. So I'm going to take a moment as well right now, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ask, this, my perfectionist part, what is one action item or something that it can do today, throughout the week, to just not have the Sunday scaries or any kind of anxiety or overwhelm take over. So if anybody wants to share what part came up, what their part said to them about what kind of practice or what they could do throughout the week that could help them, please do. Please share in the comments, or again, write it down for yourself or take note of it for yourself. What is some sort of action or practice that you can do so that you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and then also the anxiety is not taking over your week or your Monday? So when I asked my perfectionist part, it brought up that song again. And just like anytime I doubt myself, or anytime the shoulds and the need to be perfect comes up, just thinking of that song and just believing in myself. And so I'm just going to gently do that. So I'm curious, does anybody want to share what came up for them? Some sort of tool or action item or practice that they're going to use throughout this week. Because remember, that's going to inspire other people as well. So anything that you plan to use to help guide you for the rest of your Sunday or going into this week. Anybody? I feel like definitely the Ferris Bueller thing is coming on. Bueller? Anybody? Are we going to get anybody's going to share any other thing? I did hear a little bit from my scheduler as well, by the way, and it was my planner. My planner is my best friend. My planner really helps me just write the things that I need to do and make sense of time. Because remember, I self-disclosed to all of you that time isn't it's not natural. So I have to like do these different things to be like, okay, so if from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I'm going to be in acupuncture, but then I have meetings from 12:30 to 1:30 before I have a client at 2. How am I going to do this? Like, that was literally happening in my head. Like, that's all true for tomorrow. So using a planner is an action item. Does anybody else want to share an action item? Anything else that you may have? You know, it may be meditation, it may be mindfulness, it may be a nature walk, it may be journaling. It may be taking a relaxing bath or shower, maybe having a relaxing cup of tea, talking to someone. Whatever it is, feel free to share if you want to. And on that note, I do want to share that if any of you have had something come up during our time together that you feel like you would really like to continue to work on, I don't know if you are familiar. I have a podcast, and in that podcast, you illuminate a story that is binding you, or a Sunday scary that is taken over. And it's anonymous. If you want to be a participant on the podcast, it would just be audio. And so you don't have to show your face or your name. and you just share with everyone, because chances are everybody has it. And there's something freeing in that in and of itself, to just be able to voice whatever the Sunday scary is that's taking over and binding you. And then Shannon Ward and I will prescribe a song for you, a song that can help you break through that story or that scary. So that is an option. If something came up today and you're not feeling like you really want to face it right here, you can do it. So I'm just going to give you a link if you want to do that. Hold on one second. This is when I have to be like tech. It's not my forte. So this is the link to my podcast. It's a form. It's just a form. Again, everything remains anonymous, but it's a form that will, you can click on that and you can share, and then I will reach out to you. And of course it's free, and you can even get a free Illuminating the Stories That Bind Us t-shirt. And you can be a participant on there. So that's one option. If something came up for you that you really want to continue to work on, if a Sunday scary came up and you said, this is really taking over, I would love more attention on it, that is an option. The other one is a letter. I don't know if those of you who have been on Facebook or Instagram, but you can write an anonymous letter to me and I write back. So it's kind of like the Dear Abby thing. But what's so I write a letter back to you, again, somewhat like the Dear Abby thing. So I write a letter back to you, and then you you will be featured on a podcast. So you will actually get, not only will you get a response of advice on how to help you with the Sunday scary that's binding you, but then you also get a song prescribed to you by Shannon Ward and I. So the first form is if you feel like you would rather be highlighted through the podcast. And then the other one is also going to be on the podcast, but it's just a letter. The first one, I should say, for my podcast is more like season 1 of my podcast, which is where you are interviewed. And then the second one is where Shannon Ward and I talk about your letter. So please, please, please consider that if something came up for you and that you would like to get further attention on. Please, please, please consider that. So is there anything anybody would like to share about what they experienced during this? And it could be anything. You can say, Jen, the mindfulness exercise was amazing. I got so much out of it. You can say, Jen, I have no idea what you were talking about. Can you please elaborate more? Or you can share, I received this piece of information and I'm really grateful, or I learned this. Anything would be really helpful. What is the name of my podcast? Oh my goodness. Thank you, Anne. That is really important, right? So it's Illuminating the Stories That Bind Us. So I'm going to type it in right now. So that is it right there. If you go to my website, which is jenniferhcarey.com, you can click on podcasts and you are able to see all the podcasts through Anchor. So thank you so much, Anne. Let me see. Did it go through? Hopefully it went through. It's saying an error. So it's on my website. You're welcome, Anne. Thank you so much for asking. I think I just assume everybody knows, but how does everybody know? We can't all know everything. So illuminating the stories that bind us, which again relates to illuminating the Sunday scaries, because I believe that the Sunday scaries are Sunday stories that bind us and keep us from enjoying our Sundays. So that's very much the theme and the purpose of illuminating the stories that bind us. anything else, any other questions out there, anything that people want to share that they learned, or that they want to learn more about, anything. Well, I am so grateful for this space and anyone that showed up. It means so much to me. I do have to say that even if I had a perfectionist part that was like really worried today and had Sunday scaries about doing a really good job, and a scheduler that was saying, I also had a part that was just feeling really, really excited and a lot of joy about bringing this work to all of you. Those of you that know me, my mission is to really help us heal, learn, and grow, and connect. And so I'm so grateful for opportunities like this where I believe that can happen in this space. So thank you for taking time on your Sunday for yourself to illuminate some of your Sunday scaries, or as I like to call them, Sunday stories. And I hope that in illuminating them in some of the work that we did today, you now feel you are in control of them rather than the scaries controlling you, and that it can take you through this rest of today, and of course the tomorrow and the rest of this week, in a more empowered, calm, confident way. Yes. Oh, and thank you again. I am doing this every Sunday at 4 p.m. I am offering this as many Sundays as I can. There is a Sunday in March that I'm actually going to be at a conference in Washington, D.C., and it's Richard Schwartz is going to be there doing the internal family system. So I'm going to get some more tools for this at that conference. It is this is me with time. I think it's the 19th. I think it's the 19th. March 19th, whatever Sunday is in that, like 16, 17, 18, 19. I won't be doing it that Sunday because I will be flying back from DC during this time. But every other Sunday, I've already told my husband and my family and my friends, like, this is what I'm going to be doing as best as I can, as consistently as possible. And I am offering this as a free service and a free tool. If you did get anything out of this and you would really like to donate or contribute, that would be wonderful. And I appreciate it. So I'm going to put my Square link right here. If you do wish to just donate, whatever feels right. If you received something from this and want to have that exchange, I thank you very much. But I am going to just show up and do this as consistently and as much as possible to help you. And it's going to be similar in that it's going to use mindfulness and we're going to use parts work, but I'll change it up a little bit. And then, of course, as people get more and more comfortable sharing, you can see that we could get a lot of richness and goodness and tools just working off of each other. But I will guide you in different mindfulness exercises, and I will guide you in different parts work exercises that will help us just illuminate the Sunday stories, aka Sunday Scaries, and then help you to just enjoy the rest of your Sunday and feel more empowered as you go into your week. So definitely pass it on to your friends. You can be able to, or family members, you can come on here together and do it. And like I said, if you are interested in going deeper and joining either the podcast or the letters, please do so. So any other questions before we wrap up? I know it's 4:49 right now, but it feels like we're kind of naturally coming to a close, unless you have a question or you want to say anything else. And then I will happily stay on here and work with you on whatever you want in these final 10 minutes. So I'll wait a moment, take another sip of my tea. And I love this tea. This was a gift, a very special gift to me for Christmas. And it says, be present, which I think is wonderful. So whatever happens, if nobody ends up commenting or anything, I hope all of you can just kind of go peacefully into the rest of your Sunday and maybe feel a little more calm, that you accessed during our work today, feel a little more empowered, and can just enjoy. Sundays are pretty amazing. They are supposed to be the calm before the doing. So I really hope that together we can overcome what the stories that just hijack our Sunday, and we can enjoy the special moments that are available there. So if that is it, I think I'm going to wrap this up. And I again thank everyone, and just really appreciate you taking time out of your precious Sunday to be here. So, and thank you for those who did speak. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. And Chuck, let's just take a moment right now. If it's okay, I do want to plug your YouTube. I hope you're not like, Jen Carey, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? But I'm trying to remember, it's recluse. It has the word recluse in it. Chuck, can you please just give the rest of the name? I so bad. It's similar to time. Something recluse. Something recluse is your YouTube. So people can follow you on your amazing bike tour. And if you don't put it here, that's okay too. You don't have to. Maybe you're in the middle of doing something. I have it, and I am a member now. But Tony Recluse, YouTube. Thank you, Tony. Tony Recluse. Thank you. So those of you who are interested in knowing what is going on with his, and he's not just doing the East Coast of Florida. He's going down. He's going to go to Key West. And I had originally thought I had a story. I was projecting a story onto Chuck, and I was saying that he was going to stop in Key West and probably not move after that. But not true. He has a whole bike tour planned where he's going to go back up the west coast of Florida. Or no, kind of up the middle, west coast, the middle. I don't know, over like, oh my goodness. I think you want to end up in Texas, but he's going all over. You can see he's got like push pins on a map showing on his YouTube. So thank you for taking time and being here. Thank you, Rita, and thank you, Anne, for all of your comments. And thank you, everyone. I hope you go into the rest of your Sunday evening feeling better, feeling more empowered, and that you also have the most amazing week, maybe with some of the wisdom and information you got from this. So again, thank you so much for being here. You made my Sunday. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you next Sunday. Thank you, Anne, and blessings to you as well. Thank you for the blessings to all of us. So take good care, everyone. So grateful for you taking the time for yourselves to do this, and look forward to seeing you next Sunday, where we will illuminate more Sunday stories. All right, take good care, and I'm going to head out in 3, 2, 1.